All right, I'm. Whoa. Gonna give it 2 or 3 seconds. Let this thing load up. Let this thing queue. Tilted it back because we're gonna try to stream this way. Um, don't know how the. I think I needed to unlock my screen to then do it horizontally. I don't know. We can fix that next time. But welcome back, guys. I'm gonna go over a few things, wrote them down. Um, do a quick stream today. No setup again, but we have some stuff to go over in the NBA. Some stuff we missed. We missed a game too, but then we also missed a game between Montreal and the Hurricanes, which it was funny because I didn't talk too much smack, but I was kind of not convinced that Montreal would go in there and beat Carolina, and they did. And they beat them by how much? It was 4 goals. So we're going to get into that. So I'm going to go over the NBA, the NHL. There's not too much basketball news that we could go over. Like there's college baseball and softball going on, but and there's stuff about FIFA, but we'll talk about this super important right now. So and then the NFL, the most recent like football wise with college football and NFL, we talked about LSU, and then that's about it. Like there's nothing like any OTA craziness. It's like, oh my gosh, couple receivers and DBs got into a fight at, like Carolina Panthers. OTAs are like, oh, Minnesota, someone rolled their ankle and they're going to be out this season. You know what I mean? There hasn't been any issued injuries or news from OTAs. Last big news was Rodgers being like, hey, yeah, this is probably going to be my last season. And I'll make a little bit on that later. Because I have a pretty funny short that I could do for it. So let's talk about the NBA and the game yesterday that improved the Knicks. They lead the series 2-0 over the Cavs. This is kind of what I was alluding to both in the NHL and in the NBA, that the Western Conference Championships are going to be potentially better than even the finals, but definitely the better side of conference championship play. The Cavs have looked pretty lost in these Eastern Conference Finals, especially since that 7-minute mark when the Knicks started to rattle off a couple wins and they went on their like 44-20-ish run or something there at the end of the fourth quarter because they were up big, and then it just whoop blipped right away. But so the Cavs lost last 93-109. I think what started it was the quarter where they outscored, if I'm not mistaken, like the points was like 35-ish to 24. Like they outscored them there in the third quarter, which a lot of teams typically do that coming out of halftime. You get more points on them in the third quarter, and you kind of just let the fourth quarter roll out. Hart had 26 points. Donovan Mitchell also had 26 points. I think what could have made the difference 100% in this game is you could look at other key pieces like Allen or Wade or Harden for the Cavs and be like, well, this is why, the bad 3-point percentage. I've made it a point of contact a handful of times, whether I'm talking college basketball or NBA basketball, where it's to a certain point in a game where we're just chucking up threes and they're not making it. I believe Harden shot 3 for 7. Mitchell shot 2 for 7. Their 3-ball was absolutely terrible the other day. But the other thing too is you look, and I wrote it down, Knicks starting 5 all had over 15 points. OG Obino was the only one. He had 14, so he was on that board, with 14. But majority of them had 18, 19 points. I believe Brunson had 19. Hart had 20. So like when your starting 5 can actually show up and put over 10 plus points, you're in good business. Because the bench, I think that bench player was like 5 points or something like that. I didn't bother writing it down. Also, their field goal percentage, 2s, mid-range, 10-foot shots, 52%. Yeah. So versus the Cavs, who I think shot 39 or like 40, like low 40s, high 30s, something like that. But I would say, yeah, other than Hart's team leading 26 points, and then bad shooting percentage by the Cavs. Maybe that's why they, I'll need to watch the highlights again to be like, boom, it's this turnover right here in the fourth quarter that like sparked, because there wasn't any historic like, oh, look at this 44-point onslaught that the Knicks. No, it's just Knicks playing good basketball. Now I'm feeling a little foolish, and a lot of people have talked about it. Where could the Knicks? I don't think they're going to sweep the Cavs, because I think the biggest thing about this series was going to be with the Knicks in particular, because we kind of saw it with the Avalanche in the Western Conference Finals for hockey. Colorado was undefeated at home until Vegas came in and stole. Same with Carolina. But because now that I think about it, because it's like lose swept twice. But Cleveland hasn't lost at home. I think they lost the first two, but then they rattled off because the Hawks only. No. They're undefeated 2-0. Then the Hawks evened it up at 2 apiece. That's what I'm getting my Mad and Pistons mixed up. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But I think Cleveland's undefeated. So with how much momentum the Knicks have, like if this thing goes up 3-0, I'm thinking, okay, maybe the Knicks could sweep. I don't though. There's parts of me think we leave Cleveland. I'd be interested. Like I think we'd have a series if they leave Cleveland and it's 2 apiece, 2-2. But there's parts of me that think we leave Cleveland 3-1, maybe. And I think that at point two, I think the Cavs could sneak one out in Madison Square Garden, force a game 6 where ultimately Knicks take it in 6. Because I was picking the Knicks to win it in 6, but I was picking it in the way of I thought the Cavs could sneak one in Madison Square Garden between game 1 and 2, but then I would have the Knicks doing the same in games 3 or 4. But we'll just see. A lot of people are thinking there's going to be a sweep because Harden's not playing good or whatever, blah blah blah. But we'll just see. We got to play these basketball games and see. But I'm still rolling with the Knicks. Still picking Knicks Thunder, NBA championship, because that's probably what's going to be. All right, and then game 3. Game 3 is going to be later tonight. There's a handful of game time decisions for that game on people who did not play list, injury reserve, where going to be a couple game time decisions. I'm going to throw it out there. I think they're going to play. I think game 3 is going to be another good one. For the first time in 33 games, the Thunder are actual underdogs in this game. And after watching game 1 and game 2, it's like, yeah, I understand why. I think I'm just going to throw out kind of a bold prediction here. I think Wembanyama is going to have another 35 piece, something like that. Maybe a double-double. Triple-double would be absolutely insane to watch. But there's parts of me where, whoever can defend home court better wins this series ultimately, where we could be leaving San Antonio after game 4 and the Spurs are up 3-1. Because the Spurs stole game 1, like they're playing with house right now. They still have all the advantage, even though, they lost game 2. But if Spurs can come out tonight, defend home court, which, they didn't against the Trailblazers, which it is what it is, and they didn't against the T-Wolves either. So if you want to look at it from that approach, okay, Thunder are going to win tonight. But there's parts of me where, Wembanyama's cooking right now. They're playing good, and it's entertaining to see that they're at least competing with the Thunder and holding their own versus, I don't remember Suns series. Do you guys? I don't remember too much of the Lakers series. There's one good game in the Lakers series, but the Thunder have been head and shoulders above everybody else, and we've kind of predicted and penciled in we're going to have a 1 and a 2 Eastern Conference. And now that we have it, and Wembanyama has shown up, and the rest of the Spurs have shown up and been ready for that moment, so cool. So, but yeah, we got that. I think the Spurs are ready to go. But I'll pick the Spurs tonight. I'll be stupid. I'll predict them to win, go up 2-1. But then Hopefully it can go 7. I would hate to see the Spurs go up 2-1 and then lose 3 in a row and lose an in-game. I would hate to see that. But yeah, here we go. All right, let's talk the NHL. Let's switch back to, we did cover game 1. Hello. Losing my pen. All right, people. We did cover game 1, where the Avalanche, unsuccessful, losing their first one in this playoff on home ice. Yesterday, I was making jokes about how I don't think the with the power of friendship, pesky Montreal Canadiens could beat the Carolina Hurricanes. I put my foot in my mouth because we look at what yesterday was, and it was foot and mouth. Where I thought, you know what, going to 2 back-to-back games, playing 8, 14, gosh, 6 extra games. I had to do some quick math there because the Canes have swept. Now, I'm not saying that the Senators or the Flyers didn't give the Canes competition, because that Senators series was actually a lot closer than the Flyers series was, even though they were both sweeps. But I think sitting for 11 games is what got Carolina. Which there's probably other stuff going on. I'm going to point it at that and have the issue on why they lost. But I broke down how they lost that game. And I think there might be a record. They 19 something, and there was another 9 in there. So I don't know if they said 1919, like 1909, 1929, or 1999 or something like that. But they talked about during the Avalanche game, they're like, no team has sat 11 games waiting for the Eastern Conference Finals since, and then like they said, like 1919 or something like that. So again, 100 years, like we're talking before World War One. And I made like an underhanded comment, like I don't think it would be much, but like there's parts of me that think with Montreal, like just staying in routine of, was it Sunday they beat Buffalo? It had to have been Sunday that they beat Buffalo. I don't know. These last like 4 days have just flown. They beat Buffalo, and then travel day, rest day, game day, something like that. Like they stay in the rhythm of, we got a game coming up, versus the Canes, who haven't played in 2 weeks. I think that had an effect on the game. Okay, so let's get into the game and how I broke it down. Canes started out hot, 1-0, but then Montreal, Caulfield got things involved, and then there was a scoring onslaught by the Canadiens, and so it was 4-1 after the first quarter. I'm going to be honest, if I was watching the full game by that point, I'd go, oh, okay, this game's probably over. Because remember how I talked a little bit about how Wedgwood was doing very good in the playoffs, and then he had that one game against Minnesota where he gave up 6 goals, and I said, you know, this hasn't happened to Freddie Anderson yet, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen the next game where, the floodgates just open with scoring, because he's had the most saves. I believe him, Vladar, and Olmark are all kind of tied up, the most saves, because I think Wedgwood has the most shutouts and the best save percentage, because it's he wasn't facing as many shots against the Kings and the Wild. When you go to like actual saves, I mean, oh gosh, one game I think Ottawa threw like 40 shots. Anderson, and so I was just going with most. Anyways, I said all that, and I was like, if there's going to be a scoring game, it's going to be soon. Just so happened to be yesterday. I don't know if he got pulled, but if he did get pulled, quick reaction would be get him back out there for game 2, because they are as far as they are because of him. After second period, it was 4-2, so we could make a game here because there's still 20 minutes left in the game. But Slavkovsky had 2 in the third period. He did have an empty netter, which I'm going to just kind of throw away in the background. Final score was 6-2. The Canes have dropped now since 2019. I believe in 2005 and 6 they also went to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they played against like a young Sidney Crosby and all that. Damn, probably Lemieux as well. I don't remember, but since Rob Brindamore took over in 2018, and then we have 2018, 2019 until now, the Carolina Hurricanes Eastern Conference Finals record is 1-8. Oh, if with yesterday's loss, it dropped to 1-9. I don't know. But that's a little concerning because in the last handful that we have watched, they got swept in 2023. They got they lost. They got swept in 2019 against the Bruins. They got swept in 2023 against the Shot Panthers. Because that's the only way to like kind of describe what Carolina Florida was like that year. Like they were literally the upstart, we're the 8th seed. We've just upset everybody to get here. Panthers. And then last year I think they only won one game against the Panthers. I'll have to double check that, but yeah, 1-8, potentially 1-9. That's kind of concerning. One of those stats where it's like, yeah, it didn't matter if you're the 1 seed, it didn't matter Montreal, blah blah blah. We're gonna end this series, and it's like, wow. The Canes, I'll give them a win, maybe 2 wins. Okay, they are 3-12, and it's like, damn, because I picked the Canes. I think I picked the Canes in 5-6. Because I do think Montreal could be pesky, but the hockey that I've watched this postseason and this season combined, Montreal is not a better team than Carolina. They're not. And the truth too is, if you look at the East, and I've been saying this since February, it's anybody's cup to take this year because there are so many teams, Montreal included. We look at Montreal, you look at Buffalo, Boston. Like there's a handful of teams that were not playoff teams the last 2 or 3 years, where we had usual suspects like Panthers, the Rangers, the Jets. Maybe you could even throw in the Devils, Capitals. You can't say Red Wings because Red Wings haven't been in 10 years. But usual teams that like play for the playoffs, not there this year. And so it's like, well, the last two teams that Carolina Hurricanes have lost to in the postseason, they're not there, so they have no excuse. And then it's like, well, and then Montreal came by and swept them. That would be absolutely insane if Montreal swept. I don't think they would. But again, we'll see. So yeah, their record dropping to 1-9. I think it's 1-8, 1-9, something like that. Is concerning. That is super concerning. It's 1-12. So it's 1-13 then, because 4 against Boston, 4 against the Panthers the first time, and then 4 against the Panthers the second time. So 4-8-12. But they only got 1 win. So yeah, it'd be 1-13. See, look at me even fact checking myself. Anyways, but then tonight we got the Avs versus Vegas. Colorado, they have to come out strong tonight and bounce back. We talked about my thoughts and reactions to Vegas winning Game 1. They came and stole it. I want to see how, before we get ahead of ourselves, but looking at Games 3, I want to see how Colorado plays in Vegas, because clearly Vegas has shown in the Utah series and in the Anaheim series, we don't care where we're playing, we're going to beat you. So interested to see that. Want to see how Colorado defends home ice. I'll say this too: if Vegas wins tonight, Wedgwood is out. Do not let him see the net again, because there's parts of like coming to the postseason, I thought that Blackwood was going to be on net, but then it ended up being Wood, and he's been pretty good. So you ride with the hot hand. But again, you look at the Oilers, and you also look at Vegas too. Hart was the hot hand going into the postseason, so they stayed with him and kept Hill out. But like you look at teams like Minnesota, because Minnesota was switching back and forth a couple times. Who else? I think the Oilers did as well. Anaheim did as well, where they switched back and forth between goaltenders because they didn't have a surefire number one. Where it's like, well, we're the Jets here, and we're gonna play the Canucks, and put Hellebuck in, or we don't put anybody in at all. So I think he can have a bounce back game that wouldn't cause him to lose the net. But if Vegas comes in and they beat Colorado, and Colorado's down 0-2, it doesn't matter if the score is 2-1 or 6-1. There's parts of me going down 0-2. He's out, and then Block would be thrown in. But we will see. That's a big overreaction. I don't think that would happen. Same with Vegas, but again, Hart's been playing phenomenal. He's a high hand, so we'll just see. Avalanche got to come back though, because if they go down 0-2, it's gonna get real spicy in Vegas. But with how hockey is, I wouldn't be surprised either if we lost 2 straight at home and then we got it back in Vegas. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, because I believe last year when the Avs played Dallas, I think that's what it was. I think Colorado or Dallas took game 1 in Colorado, but then for games 3 through the rest, like I think it went 1-1, but then the home team for the remainder of the series lost. So we're in Dallas, Colorado won. We're in Colorado, Dallas won. Because Dallas ended up winning it in Game 7 in Colorado, I think. I don't know. But that's all I have for you guys today so far. That's a lot of the sports action and news around the world of sports. No NFL. I can double check though. Again, we'll make a video later on it. But the other thing too that was kind of a big article was the FIFA World Cup stuff going on. Like, because I think we're a month away, 2 months away. Like we're getting close. We're also sorry. We are also 100 days away from college football. And so, you know what? For fun, hell, why not? In the ACC Championship, give me Clemson and Cal. Yeah, why not? Just a weird matchup where, or give me like North Carolina and Cal or something like that. We could do two Pac-12 teams in the ACC championship. Kind of like ASU and Oregon that one year, where it's like, oh, look at these other conference winning. Yeah, give me Stanford. Give me like Stanford and something weird for the ACC championship. Like I want to see Florida State, Miami, or Clemson be successful, but there's parts of me where it's like, it doesn't matter. They're not winning. They're not going to win the conference. Last year, Duke, Virginia, which, like, there was a 5-way tie. There was a 5-way tie for second. Like, I gave my thoughts and I had a video about it. Because, like, why is Duke playing when you could throw Georgia in there, Miami, like whatever. But yeah, give me like Stanford, Cal, something stupid like that. Or NC State and SMU. I know that. Wake Forest and Miami, some long shot. Big 12, BYU, Kansas State. Give me that all day long, because we haven't made a video on this, but we might need to. Sorsby, with Texas Tech. I think he's suing the NCAA. I don't know. So he might not even be playing college football this fall. I think he will, because again, it's legal. And it's like, yeah, he got in the grime of it where it's, I'm gonna bet on hot dog eating. But I mean, hey, if the NCAA said, you know what, we're allowing the players to, okay, so be it. So I think, yeah, I think word's still out on Texas Tech, because if he's not now, I'm not saying, oh, the $5 million have just kind of like swooned me to believing that Texas Tech is going to be the real deal. But if you're missing your starting quarterback, that's an issue. You take away. I mean, look at Penn State with Rocco Becht. Now, half of Iowa State's roster went over to Penn State, but like, you take Mendoza off Indiana, you take Dante Moore off of Oregon. Like, starting quarterbacks are starting quarterbacks, and your team doesn't play without them. Rarely do we have a Tua situation, a Nick Foles situation. Though those are rare, because it's like, hell, this is almost damn near a decade ago. But we talk about Joe Burrow. You think about the 3 or 4 quarter, because JT was still the starting quarterback. But like, I think, no, Justin Fields was at Georgia at the time too. But like, you had Dwayne Haskins, you had more quarterback that was in front of him. Yeah, it was Jay Miller, Miller's backup, Haskins. Oh, can't remember. Anyways, but yeah. So Big 12 soft push is Kansas State, BYU, SEC, Georgia, Texas, or Georgia, Texas A&M. Someone against Georgia. Ole Miss against Georgia. That'd be fun. The Sugar Bowl last year. Who am I missing? We gotta do Big Ten. Big Ten. Oregon, Ohio State. I know that's super unoriginal, but you got two great quarterbacks coming with Dante Moore and Julian Sayin. Play that. Yep. ACC, Big 12, SEC, and nothing else. I mean, and then my top 12 softball here got put Georgia, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, BYU, Kansas State. Oh, fitch. Oregon. Did I put Ohio State already? Probably did. Texas A&M. You gotta throw Boise State in there or UNLV, because they will be in there. That's only 8. Oklahoma, Texas. So there's 10. Maybe Texas Tech again, and then like a Toledo or something, because that 11 and 12 seed's going to go to whoever to have the honorable. Congratulations for making the playoffs. You have to go play in Aggie Land and get your ass kicked by 40 points against Texas A&M, who, by the way, probably play in the Final Four. So, anyways, guys, we're going to end there. Yeah, I'll look at the FIFA stuff for the World Cup too and give my thoughts. Softball, a softball like World Cup final prediction I have is probably Argentina, Portugal, Spain, France against USA, like that. But like, I don't think USA is making it out of knockout rounds. Anyways, guys, we're gonna end the stream here because I've been streaming way too long. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. I thank you guys for hanging out. I think we've had like 20 people in the stream at one time, but I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.